Instant classic in Knoxville, Georgia and Tennessee. 2:40 to play. Georgia down by 8. Gunnar Stockton airs it out to London Humphrey's 28-yard scoring strike, and we're 2 points away from a tie ball game. Kirby Smart and the Dogs are going to go for 2. Ensuing conversion to Zachariah Branch. He's in, and we are tied at 38. First time Gunnar Stockton is starting in a true road game in front of 110,000 in Knoxville at Neyland Stadium. Final seconds. We're tied at 38. Max Gilbert on for the win. No. Wide right from 43 yards out, feeling like the sickest man in Knoxville. So we are going to overtime, tied at 38. Now in the first OT, Gilbert hits from 42. Up 41-38. Georgia gets the football. A chance to win it. A touchdown wins it here. Josh McCrae, handoff. Did he get in? Does he get in? He reaches at the last moment. The knee is not down, and Georgia steals one on the road from Tennessee. Final score, 44-41 in overtime, and that is 9 straight wins against the Vols. I mean, you want to talk about heartbreak for Tennessee. They had a 21-7 lead in the first quarter, and you'll sit and go, all right, it was early first quarter. Yeah, but they had the lead against Georgia. Aguilar looked fantastic. Chris Brazzell looked fantastic. Look at the numbers for him. 6 catches, 177 yards, 3 receiving touchdowns, and you could say, well, it's all spoiled because they didn't win. Tennessee made a statement, but they just could not finish. And Gunnar Stockton and company make an even bigger statement, going on the road in a hostile environment to win yet again over the Tennessee Volunteers. CBS Sports HQ presented by Belfour Property Restoration. Here in studio, national champ Cardale Jones, former All-American tight end Adam Brenneman. And what a game that was, Cardale. That was awesome from both sides. The heartbreak for Tennessee. But first off, your reaction to how that game played out.
Man, going into this game, I did not think we would see so many points, and talking about two teams that's historically been defensive powerhouses and talking about their young quarterbacks putting themselves in tough positions where you talk about Stockton going into his first true road SEC game environment in Tennessee. Tennessee had these guys down by 14 points in the first half, and Georgia just found a way to beat some dogs.
This was a grown-up game by Gunnar Stockton. He grew up in this one and really got the belief of that Georgia locker room. First true road start, like you said, Cardale, 300 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Best stat, he didn't throw an interception, took care of the football. But he's always had that marker of a dual-threat quarterback. He stood strong in the pocket, made big throws down the field, took hits with pressure in his face, and really delivered the ball with accuracy. Gunnar Stockton deserves a lot of credit for how he played in this one.
When you sit there and think about how Georgia came back from that game and that throw that Gunnar Stockton makes to London Humphreys, how difficult is a throw? Because it felt like the ball was up in the air for a minute.
You know what? It's so fun because we have the opportunity to have the best seats in the house. And as soon as he released the ball, as we was watching it, and I was saying in my head, that's a dime. That ball couldn't have been nowhere else than where it was for the receiver to make a great play on that ball. But outside of that, being in that position and then still having to go out there and get the 2-point conversion for a young quarterback, can you imagine the type of pressure that he was feeling and putting himself under? Kirby Smart and that offense staff did a great job of really keeping him comfortable and really putting his game on his shoulders, and he excelled.
That was an incredible throw. I mean, to be able to make a catch like that with the game on the line, I mean, that was a massive play. When you talk, it was 4th and 6, Adam.
Yeah, and to think about where he's doing it, too. On the road at Tennessee and Neyland Stadium. I mean, that place is rocking. Everyone booing in the stands. I mean, Gunnar Stockton really impressed me tonight. And you saw how he's really good on the move as well. I like that 2-point conversion play. You get him out of the pocket, let him throw the football in the flat. But, Cardale, the other point to me here is Georgia's defense didn't play that well in this game. They bent at a lot of different points in this one, gave up 41 points. But what happens when your defense isn't playing well? You take them off the field. So Georgia runs the football 55 times in this game, dominates time of possession, and ultimately that protected their young quarterback, Gunnar Stockton, and was the reason they won, running the football and dominating at the line of scrimmage.
All of the credit goes to Gunnar Stockton, but you also got to remember him back in the SEC championship game against Texas. Took that huge hit, popped up, fans went nuts. He had to go out of the game because his helmet popped off. but you remember his big game experience, and it plays out yet again here. There were a couple miscues from Tennessee late. We saw the false start, pushed him back 5 yards. That never is something you want to do late in the game. And you know you have a college kicker out there trying to make a huge kick, and you push him back even further. I mean, that moment right there, when you talk about executing the offense and a little mistake like that, a game of inches, how razor thin it is, especially in a conference like the SEC.
You know what? I don't know how much of that false start was really going to play into a factor of Gilbert missing or making that field goal. But you go back to the point of the missed opportunities, and then you go back to Aguilar's second interception. Well, that was because of a miscommunication. And then on top of that, the receiver fell down. And then even having a chance to score in an overtime situation instead of settling for 3, it looked like it was a few miscommunication opportunities. So Tennessee is going to go back and look at this tape and say, hey, we had these guys. Especially, it's easier to reflect on a loss than a win when definitely he was up early in the game by 14 points and ultimately couldn't get the W. But a lot to learn from both teams after this game. But Aguilar, I mean, kudos to that Tennessee coaching staff on the offense side of the ball. Continue to let him throw the ball around after 2 interceptions that was really costing them and putting them in bad position early in the game.
Tennessee's false start before the field goal wasn't just about losing the 5 yards. It was also about not centering the football. For your college kicker, in a really tough kick to make, all the pressure on you, you're on the sideline for hours until you have to kick that field goal. So it threw off the whole cadence. It was the loss of 5 yards, not centering the football. Now he's rushing on there when he thinks his offense is going to run a play. Now 5 yards back. I think it had an impact, but to your point, there were many opportunities for Tennessee to win this game. Joey Aguilar played really well in this one. We saw a Tennessee offense that had explosiveness that we didn't see last year.
No.
Tennessee has playmakers now. Brazzell, who had 3 touchdowns, that can go up and make a play on the 50-50 ball that we didn't see in 2024. I think, guys, we saw 2 of the best teams in the country go at it today.
Yeah, Chris Brazzell was awesome. I mean, he was fantastic. If Tennessee wins this game, I mean, sure, you're going to give hats off to Joey Aguilar, but Chris Brazzell, 6 catches, 177 yards, 3 touchdowns on 8 targets. I mean, he was electric in this game, but also electric is the running game for Georgia, Cardale. I mean, they ran for nearly 200 yards. You got Frasier out there running, then you got McCrae be able to pound it in at the end there to get the win.
Yeah, McCrae and Frasier is the ultimate 1-2 punch right now in college football, especially when you talk about getting into conference play, when you know you're going to have to lean on that run game. It's such a tough conference in the SEC when it really is defined by those big guys up front on both sides of the ball. So when you have a running game as productive as these 2 guys with Georgia, it's no wonder why they dominated time of possession, almost doubling Tennessee time of possession, really controlling that. I mean, the ball didn't come out the quarterback's hand for us in the air in overtime because of how great they was doing in the run game.
Yeah, that Georgia run game is so good as well because Gunnar Stockton can run the football.
Yeah.
He ran the ball for 13 times today, had a touchdown, had a couple of first down carries. When you have the mix of the 2 running backs, of the pass game where Stockton gets that out of his hand, but then the +1 run game where you have the lead blocker for the running back. Gunnar Stockton can get on the edge. You saw a lot of times in those 3rd down moments, 4th down, got to have it situations, getting Gunnar Stockton out of the pocket with the option to throw the football, run the football. It worked for Georgia today, and that combination of the weapons on the ground makes that offense hard to stop.
Another year, another loss for Tennessee, an absolute heartbreaker in this one. Adam, how detrimental is this loss to Tennessee's schedule moving forward?
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. This is a game where Joey Aguilar can go watch the film and say, there's a lot of positive here. There's a lot of good things going forward. But you look at this Tennessee schedule, they get a little tune-up game against UAB, Mississippi State, Arkansas. Those are 3 games they'll be favored in moving forward. Then a tough one against Alabama. So right now it's about fixing the errors, getting the defense a little bit better, making sure you get pressure on the quarterback, stop the run up front, and then Joey Aguilar's got to take care of business down SEC play.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I think the biggest thing you're going to take away from Tennessee in this game today is the turnover battle. And that was the biggest differentiator in this game for Tennessee versus Georgia. You know, and also being able to solidify the run game. So that's some things you got to do in the SEC, being able to run the ball and protect it.
Georgia up next. They're going to get a big old game. It's a break, but they got Alabama looming ahead. And of course, this isn't Alabama from years past, but Alabama gets a win on this day. But another test for Georgia as they now improve to 60-0 under Kirby Smart when scoring at least 35 points in a game.
Wow.
So they scored 35. That's the recipe for success for the Georgia Bulldogs. and you take a look at what Tennessee was oh so close to doing. They were up by 14 in this game. They lose in overtime. They were looking to snap an 8-game slide against Georgia, and they were set up to do so, but they come up short. They've been playing this rivalry since 1899. This was the first one to go to overtime, and it turns out to be winning time for the Dogs.